Hi guys, it's Simone here from Sparkly Fairy Face Painting. I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on very quick, easy designs. These are things for fates where you've got a line a mile long. They might be a charity and they might be trying to raise money. So just little things. So I'm going to fill up my legs here with some designs that I did on the weekend. So the first one we're going to go with is just a Pokeball. Very simple. I'm using a small filbert brush. It's not a professional face painting brush. It's just one I got from the art shed, I think, and yeah, I'm just using it. I've had it for years and I really like it. So that's the red on the top. As you can see, it was just one little stroke. Then we're going to go for white, the middle of the ball, and then we're going to do the bottom of the ball in white as well, leaving a little bit of a gap. You can see there's this little gap there between the white. Probably could have left a bigger gap there, but you get the idea. Then we go in for our black paint. We're using quite a small brush. I think it's a number 2 Roymac. And then we go around the white part. I might have had a little bit too much water on my brush there, but anyway. And then around the outside of the Pokeball. I've done that in 2 little stripes. Oh, it's not very round, but anyway, that's okay. And then put the little stripes in there. So there you have your Pokeball done really quickly. If you want to make it a little bit nicer, you can then go back into your white, and you can do this on every single design if you have the time, which is just put little Starburst. You usually do 3, starting with a big, then a couple of small ones, and a few dots around, and maybe a highlight. That just makes it look a bit more magical. You could do more Starbursts here, but I'm pretending we're on a job where it's really, really flat out. You want to be getting designs done in 1 minute. Okay, so next thing we're going to go to is a very simple rainbow. And that's obviously just a 1 stroke. That's the tag 1 stroke. You can then spray a bit of glitter on. If you're really rushed, you can say, that's it, off you go. Now you say, there you go, isn't that lovely? Have a great day. And they look in the mirror. Oh no, there goes my brush. And they love it. So if you do have time, what you can do, this is a filbert. It's, what number is it? I don't know, it's a medium. You could then add a cloud. Takes just a second, like that. If you've got a little bit more time, you want to make it a little bit more special. As you can see by now, the kids could be on their way. You could have done your second one by now, but if you do have some time, again, just add your Starbursts. Just makes it a bit more special. So there's a rainbow. Next thing, you'll always have kids that love flowers and butterflies. So this is one of my favorites. This is a tag magnolia, and I use this a lot. There's also another one called Dolphin. There's another one called Unicorn. They're all good. There's a lot of beautiful colors. This is just my personal favorite. So for butterflies, put down your brush. It's a wiggle and keeping it into that point. And then we'll do the same at the bottom. See how I turned it around to the magenta at the top, the blue on the bottom? You can then also put a little spray of glitter. That's essentially your butterfly flying side on, so you can see 3 of the wings. A lot of people will say, hey, you've forgotten a wing. But once you put on the body, just with 1 little stroke, you press down, then 1 little dot for the head, press down and bring it down, press down and bring it down lightly. There's your butterfly flying alongside on. Okay, I'm going to now do the flower, which is essentially exactly the same thing. I like to have the blue on the outside. So I'm going to start with my top petal. It's a wiggle, 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 keeping your magenta to your central point. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you've got it, it's easy. So here's our flower. Pretty much done. A little bit of gold in the middle. What I did learn today on a job, thanks to another beautiful face painter, Jazzy Art Entertainment, was put your leaf like this. This is probably not exactly how she does it. She probably does it a lot better. But anyway, put your leaf like that and a little bit of embellishment. And then that makes it extra special. And that looks lovely on a face or an arm. So there's your flower. Let's get back to some boys' things. We'll go over to the other leg. I'm going to do a very quick spider. There's a lot of fancy spiders you can do, but we're just going to do this one. So this is the filbert again, round filbert. Pressing it down, the brush is sideways, and then bringing it down to a little point. If you want to, you can put some glitter, but you don't have to. Then I'm going to use, what sort of brush is this? This is a round brush. So even though it's pointy, it's called a round brush. The number's worn off it. It's probably a 6. We'll go around in a circle around your red stripe. This is obviously going to be a red back spider. We love those in Australia. They might be called black widows or something in America. Might just put a little bit of glitter on. Dark blue glitter looks really good on spiders, but I've only got my gold and silver out for this tutorial. Press down for a head. Now, if you've got great brushes, you can use the same brush. If you want to, you can swap onto a thinner brush. So I've got another round brush. Oh, picked up the wrong one. All right, try again. Back to my Roy Mac. This round brush, which looks like, people call them fine liner brushes. They're actually called round brushes. So we're going to put 2 little fangs on there. And we're going to put in our legs. We do it in 2 parts. We go from the outside, pressing down and bringing it in, pressing down, bringing it in, pressing down, bringing it in, pressing it down, bringing it in, so that you get that nice thicker edge and finer line. Then you do the same going out. Oops, I've got a bit more paint on my brush. Pressing it down, flicking it out. So this is getting his legs happening. Pressing it down, bringing it in. You just want to get it thicker and then thinner. Okay, if you want to, you can add a spider web, which is the same thing. Try to weight it from the outside, thicker down to thinner. It doesn't matter if the web doesn't all join up. You don't want thick, heavy lines on a web anyway. It's supposed to be a fine, delicate thing. So that's most of the spider done. Then I'm going to add a little bit of white. If you're really, really rushed, you can leave it at that. If not, I usually get my tiny, thin, white fine liner and put some dots for the eyes, a highlight on either side, a very quick little highlight on each leg. It's just a little flick to give an indication. Same with the web. Can't really see around the side of my knee, but anyway, that's okay. I'm hoping I'm doing okay. Sometimes you just paint by feel. And then if you want to, and if you've got time, you can add your Starburst. Just makes it look a little bit more magical. Okay, so that's your spider done and dusted there. I'm going to move on really quickly to doing a snake. Snakes are always really popular. So I'm using Global. I don't know what the name is because it's all worn off the back, but it's got this blue, green and white in it. This is great for a lot of different things. Turtles, mermaids, all sorts. Snakes can be done in any sort of 1-stroke colour. So I'm going to start down here. Dark on the outside of your brush, white on the inside. So press down. You do this bit of a funny manoeuvre out. I don't know if you can see that very well. Cross over for the snout or the nose of your snake and then do the same on the other side. So you get a bit of, it's almost like a light bulb sort of shape. Load up your brush again and then do a really tight wiggle. A lot of people just do the snake in a straight line. In my opinion, that doesn't look great. Put a bit of glitter on. If it doesn't work the first time, you can come back and go back the other way over the top of what you've done. And that sometimes you have children with really dry skin and it will soak up the paint. You have to do it a couple of times. So here are your eyes. I'm just literally doing one press with the white on a round brush. You want another thin brush to put your tongue in. Very important. Can't have a snake without a tongue. Has to be forked. So you're leaving your eyes to dry for a little while. You go back to your black. Another round brush. I just give a press here and a press there to put the eyeballs in. I don't worry about outlining my eyeballs. It can become too heavy. If you're not experienced, you can end up with really fat outlines, which doesn't look good. Now, if you're really busy, leave it like this. If not, it's the same. Press down and flick around so that you get a thick side and a thin side. Usually go from the dark side of the snake around. It doesn't have to go all the way to the other side of the snake. And I'd usually do this a lot faster, but I'm slowing down for the video. Alright, so we'll go around, get our stripes in. That's your snake. I do also, if I've got time, like to put just a couple of wiggle lines just to give them a bit of movement. Kids always say, "What's that?" And you say, "That's the wiggle lines." And they go, "Ah." Alright, so that's that. Back to some really quick ones. So a skull is also a really quick one to do. Let me find a brush I haven't used yet. You can use any filbert. You can also use a round brush. I'll just use this medium filbert for now. So we're going for sort of that light bulb shape again. So this will be the head of your skull. There it is. It is good if you can do it without having to change brushes. So if you can do it with one brush, that's great. A smaller filbert would have been good for that. Now I'm going to put in the crossbones coming out of my skull. So just 4 presses like that. Then we put the little knobbles on the end of our crossbones. See how I'm just doing one press, 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 press. You can then come around a bit if you want to fill that in so that it doesn't look like they're going over the top. That's essentially most of your skull done. Then we come into the black again. And I just do my eyes. So this is another smaller round brush. Just press down on an angle, press down on an angle, and you can put that little bit of shape in to the eyes. Same brush, we're going to go press down at an angle, press down at an angle for the nose. For the teeth at the bottom, same thing, just same brush, pressing around, making these. If you want to, you can put a line through it, it's not essential. Now we're going to go with putting your outline around. It's a bit wobbly and scratchy, but that's okay. Skulls are a bit scary. Just a quick outline around all of this. I do the skull first, then I do the crossbones. And then if you can manage it with the same brush, use it, because you'll waste time changing brushes. If not, change to a thinner brush. But get your point nice and thin and just put some little cracks over the top. So there you have your skull. Nice and quick and easy. Next thing we're going to do is a dolphin and a shark. And then we'll see how we're going for being able to fit things on my leg. Right, so we're going to use blue first. Well, just blue really. These are very quick designs, remember. So we're going to do a dolphin over here. So this is the filbert. I'm going to do a bit of a tear sort of shape. And then I'm going to put the snout on. So that's the body. And then the snout of your dolphin. And then it's just a flick and a flick for the tail. You can use the same brush to put in the fin, the dorsal fin, and the smaller fin. I'm using quite a large brush for that. You can adjust it to the size of the kid's face. So you could use a smaller filbert easily. You could use a round brush if you felt more comfortable with it. So we've got our dolphin shape there. So next thing, outlining. And there's all sorts of ways of doing eyes. The easiest eye is to do just a little dot. You can do a little dot. You can do a full eye, or you can do a little closed eye with eyelashes, which always looks super cute. So I'm just going to go with that one today. I think that's a good beginner's one because outlining eyes can be really hard, and a little dot eye can sometimes look a bit basic unless you're a really good face painter and everything else looks fantastic. A couple of little highlights just in places to just make her look a bit special. You could add splashes to that if you wanted to. Splashes always make things look really great. I'll put a couple in, but if you're on a job where you're being really super quick, you wouldn't worry about splashes. But splashes do look good. So this is Ocean by Tag. A big filbert brush, you could use a smaller one, and just press and flick, press and flick, press and flick, and a bit of glitter on that. So that's a splash. Alright, we're going to go on to a shark. Where's my shark brush? Here we go. So I don't use this brush very often. I bought it thinking I'd use it heaps. It's this angled brush. So this one's the Montmartre Taklon. They're always Taklon brushes you should use. It's called an angle. It's a 12. And I've found uses for it because I don't want to waste having bought it. And I love using it for a shark. So for a shark, let's see. So here's the angle. I'm going to go press and around and a tail, butterfly, and then press and in. So this is my basic shark shape. And you can make them longer, you can make them more curvy and swoopy, but this will do for today. I should be doing that in one stroke. Put in his dorsal fin, put in another couple of little fins, and then when you put the detail in, it will all become clear. Again, on a face painting job, you want to be able to do this without going backwards and forwards. It really should just be the one stroke, not going back to clean it up, but sometimes it's unavoidable. Your very thin brush to put in some teeth, just a press and a flick. Might put in some highlights while we're here because we've got the same brush and it'll just be quicker to not change brushes. I like to put in these gills as well. Then we'll come back with our black and do the detail. So make sure all your bristles are together for a start, and we'll just do a bit of quick outlining of the shark. Don't worry about having to stay exactly on the lines. That doesn't always matter so much. Sort of doing this a bit upside down now because of the way I've painted on my leg. Now, you can do your eyes all different ways. This is the way I do my shark eye. That was just a stroke and a little half circle underneath it. And it always makes it look a bit better if you come back and put a little highlight in the eye. All right, so I think that'll do us for today. If you can do those on a job, you should get by okay. Oh, maybe I should do a unicorn. All right, I'll do one quick unicorn. Quick unicorn, because everyone always wants a unicorn anyway. Oh, all right, no, we'll leave it there. I'll do a unicorn in a separate tutorial. See you later, guys.